Welcome Chromian to this tutorial on building your first Dapp. Let's head over to learn.chromia.com and navigate to the course Build Your First App with Rell on Chromia. This course is aimed at beginners, so if you're new to Chromia or blockchain development, you're in the right place. If you want to learn more about how Chromia works, check out this overview for some useful information. But even if you're a more experienced developer, you might still find some very useful tips and insights. We'll be building a Dapp where you can store and retrieve data, like books and reviews, on a Chromia blockchain node. You'll learn about data structures called entities. They can relate to each other, and you can use them to store, modify, and retrieve data, kind of like a database, because under the hood, it is actually a database, a relational one. The main difference being that this database is decentralized and runs on Chromia nodes. You can get more information about how it all works using these links. And if you want all the code immediately or just check that you've done everything right, you'll find it here in the repo. But let's start by setting up our project. If you haven't done it yet, there's a separate video where I walk through setting up your local environment. Or you can just follow the steps here. First, installing the PostgreSQL database. I'm on Windows, but it's difficult, perhaps even impossible, to get everything running straight on Windows, so I use Linux through WSL instead. Same with the Chromia CLI. I'm installing that on Linux through WSL too. Now let's set up our Dapp. I have a VS Code ready for exactly that purpose. Now let's enter the folder and open a dedicated VS Code for this project. Now that we are set up, let's continue with the project structure. If you're unfamiliar with Rell, this link gives you a nice overview of what the language is and what it was built for. All your Rell code will live inside one or more modules. Each module can be a single file, and that's fine if you have a small code base. But a better practice is to split things up into multiple files inside a folder. That's what we're going to do now. I'm creating a folder called main inside the src folder. This will contain our module. It doesn't have to be called main. That's just convention when your app only has one module. Inside the main folder, I'm adding the files, each with a clear and specific role in the project. Splitting things like this keeps our code organized and easy to manage. The Rell files we create are module, entities, functions, operations, and queries. The entities Rell file is foundational because it defines how all your data is related and stored. You can read more about entities here. But for this to work, we're required to declare it all as a module. That's done in the module Rell file, with this simple declaration at the top. We should also remember to delete the default main Rell file that came when we created the project, so we don't have conflicting module definitions. Now our project should look like this, and it looks correct, but let's just make sure we have the test file too. And there it is, just as expected. That concludes our setup. In the next video, we'll continue with lesson 1 and creating our first entity. See you there.